Today we start a new section in Lambda functions. Today we try to talk about the deployment of the Lambda functions, how it works, and how to what is the process behind it. So today it will be quite small video to talk about how the process goes. It's about like 6 steps or something like that. So the deploying AWS Lambda functions involves several key steps, from writing your function code to configuring the function in AWS and deploying it. So let's just try to talk about all the steps that we need to do, and you expect these steps. We try to learn each one of them in details. The first one, it will be that you have to write your functions code. This one we have done before. So yeah, sorry. Write the function code in one of the supported programming languages like Node.js or Java or Python. You can after that we talk about the local development, so you can develop the code on your machine. And it's important to ensure you follow AWS Lambda programming model, including defining a handler function that AWS Lambda can invoke. Number 2, we have to package your function. So let's talk about dependencies. So if your function depends on external libraries, include them in your package. You should maybe after that you create a deployment package, like for simple functions written in languages like Python or Node.js. The deployment package might be just a zip file containing your code and any dependencies. For compiled languages like Java, it might be a .jar file. For more complex functions, or if you prefer containerized workflows, you can package your function as a Docker container image. Number 3, you will upload your Lambda function. So you can use using the AWS management console. Like you can go to the AWS Lambda console, create a new function or select an existing one. You can upload the zip file or jar file directory, or specify an Amazon S3 bucket where the deployment package is stored. If using a container image, you will provide the URI of the container image in Amazon ECR. You can also deploy using the Amazon CLI or the SDKs. Like you can also let's just show this command line. You can also use this one command line here. Like you can use the AWS CLI or SDKs to upload your function code. For example, this is a CLI, so you have AWS Lambda, you type the action, and after that you specify the function name, and this is your function name. This is the actual function name, and you have the zip file, and you put the path of the zip file in your machine, and you the handler, and you just you follow with the RN and of the role. Okay. Let's delete this one. After that, we have to configure execution role. We have the role creation, so you can create an IAM role with the necessary permission that your Lambda function needs to access other AWS services. For example, maybe you want to create a specific role for your Lambda functions to access the VPC and work with the VPC. You can attach the role, so attach this role to your Lambda function in the execution role section. After that, number 5, you will set the configurations parameters. What's going on? Yeah. So we have the runtime. You should choose the runtime that matches your programming language. The handler name, specify the function with your code that Lambda will call in index.handler. the memory and timeout. Set the amount of memory and the maximum execution time for your function. We have the environment variables. Optionally set environment variables your function will use. We have the VPC configuration, like if needed, configure the VPC settings to allow your Lambda function to access resources within VPC. And number 6, we have to test the Lambda function. In this one, we create test events. In the AWS Lambda console, you create and use test events to validate the behavior of your function. You invoke the Lambda function. You could invoke your Lambda function manually in the console, or set up triggers like API gateways, S3 events, etc. to invoke it. You have monitor and optimize. Number 7. It's not 6 steps. I guess it will be 8 steps. Sorry for that, guys. So number 7 is logging and monitoring. AWS Lambda automatically integrates with AWS CloudWatch for logging and monitoring. Review these logs and metrics to optimize your function's performance and troubleshoot issues. We have number 8, which is versioning. Oh no. So publish versions. You can publish versions of your Lambda function if you need to manage different stages of deployment, like development, testing, production, etc. You could create aliases. So aliases can point to a specific version of your Lambda function, allowing for more flexible deployment strategies. In terms of the best practices, let's talk about some best practices that we should follow. Number 1, we will talk about the security, which is quite important one, which is you should follow the security practice like minimal privilege for execution roles and using the AWS secrets managers for sensitive configuration. We have the code management. Use version control for your Lambda function code. We have lastly testing. You implement through testing, including unit tests and integration tests, to ensure your Lambda functions behaves as expected. So deploying Lambda functions involves understanding and managing several aspects, from coding and packaging to configuration and monitoring, to effectively utilize the serverless capabilities of AWS Lambda. So this was a quick overview of how the Lambda deploying process goes. It has 8 steps, and each step it's not easy, and also it's not hard. So it's just a journey that we take together. And actually, I'm learning AWS as well, and everything I learn, I create a video for it, so you can learn with me. So yeah, that's it for today's video, and I hope you like my content. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a video, and see you guys in future problem.